Happy 2026 first episode we are releasing for the new year. Stay tuned because I'm going to do a 2025 look back and what you should be doing to reflect on your year, what we do to plan for 2026, and some ideas that will help you to reach your goals this year. And also, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of tough love and things that you might need to hear going into 2026. Happy 2026, all of my amazing listeners. This is the first episode we are releasing for 2026. I fully leaned into the holiday break. I took 2 weeks off. My son had 2 weeks off from school, and I pretty much took 2 weeks off, maybe a little sprinkling of work in there, but we relaxed, we played. I was like a kid. If you have kids, when your kids get toys, it's like I got to relive my Christmas as a kid. We were playing board games and staying in pajamas and watching movies, and we totally and fully took the time to enjoy. Of course, it always goes too fast, but so we didn't have an episode released the very first week of January. So this is our first episode of 2026, and I'm just so grateful and so thankful for you for being here, whether you are a listener who has been with us from the beginning, which has been over 2 years of podcasting, or you are someone who is new to my podcast. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And my goal for you in 2026 is to really help you lean in to whatever it is that you are committed to this year. My word of the year is commit. So I'm going to share with you a few things today. First of all, if you're watching this on video, if you're just listening, amazing, great to have you here. If you're watching this on video, one of the things that I'm committing to into 2026 is just taking messy action and not letting perfection be the enemy of good enough, getting things done. And so one of the things I was dragging my feet on is finding a great place to record my podcast. If you've been watching my podcast videos, I have been all over as we've had construction in our house on and off for the last year. Crazy story, crazy things. And so back in my office, but it's still under construction. And so that was getting in the way of me wanting to record. I'm just going to be totally honest and transparent with all of you because that's what we're doing. We're taking messy action. It was getting in the way because I'm like, I need to find the perfect place to sit. Of course, I want to have the perfect lighting and the perfect background. And we're going to get there. We're going to get that back to where I have my office set up in a way. But for now, I decided, you know what? I've got boards in those of you who aren't watching, I've got a light up here that is needs to get taken down. I don't have trim around the door. We've got stuff in the background. And I decided, you know what? We're just going to do it anyways because many people just listen to it. And those of you who are watching, this is a real life. We're doing construction in my office. We're redoing my office. We're redoing things in the house. This is just how it is. And so I'm not going to let that perfection get in the way of me getting the thing done and getting out to you what I want to get out to you. So that is already my taking messy. One of my things I will own can sit in indecision. And that can be, if you're someone like me, that can just be debilitating when you are waiting for everything to be perfect, for all the things to be aligned, to do things. You can be waiting forever. So my word of the year is commit. So a couple things I want to share with you on this episode. First of all, I didn't do an end of the year recap and how we're setting ourselves up for 2026. So I want to share that with you because I know I've gotten feedback in the past that's really helpful of what do I do individually? What do we do as a team within my organization, my firm to help set us up for the year? I want to share with you a little bit about my word of the year. And also I want to give you a little bit of tough love going into 2026. And hopefully you receive that with love, and it's really coming from a genuine place of tough love talk to myself. So first of all, a little bit of recap. So every year at the end of the year, I sit down. I used to be on my own, when I just was thinking of my goals for the next year. Now I've had an amazing team with me for the last 3 years. I've had an amazing assistant who sits down with me. And so I shared this last year. So for those of you who are listening last year, it's a little bit of a recap and some things that we do differently. And for those of you who are new to listening, hopefully this is helpful for you, no matter what position you're in. If you're someone who owns your own business, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have a side hustle, this could be helpful for you. But also if you're someone who works within an organization, it's really important for you to sit down either individually or with your team and really assess the year. So one thing that we do is I take time. So at the end of the year, we have a team meeting and we block most of the day. We get coffee in the morning and we grab lunch in the afternoon, try and like make it kind of fun. And we really reflect on the year and some of the key things that we do. And so I prep going into this, what I think about, what really went well this year, what excited me this year, what did I really love that I did, where did I feel like not aligned this year. So not only just like the feeling part of it, like how did I feel this year in my schedule, in my health, in my business, in my family, in my relationships, like really holistically thinking of it that way. But then also very tangibly in terms of the metrics. I will look and see what was my, what were my health goals? What was my personal goals? Like if it was how many times I want to volunteer, or how many times I want to have family time. Also from a work perspective, like what were my revenue goals? How many speaking events did I want to do? How many clients did I want to have? So all the metrics. And at the same time, my amazing assistant is doing a lot of work behind the scenes before we meet to pull that information together as well. So she'll go back. We're really trying hard to make sure we're really clear on our metrics and all of that. So she'll go and pull a lot of that data for me and then come to the meeting with it, which is just absolutely amazing. And so when she comes, we are ready to talk about not only how did we feel, like what was my word of the year last year, which was peace. And I really genuinely feel like, even though I think I've been saying this every single year for like the last 5 years, I will say 2025 it so far takes the cake of the craziest year. I've shared quite a bit of what was going on last year. And even amidst all of that, somehow we found so much peace as a family. And I've talked about this in other podcast episodes, but just finding that peace, like you can have this peace amidst other things that are going on. And so I really tried to lean into that. And so I will reflect on that and we'll talk about that and we'll talk about how she felt through the year, wins, what went well, what didn't go well. And then we'll sit down and really look at what was the revenue goal? How many clients did we want? How many new clients did we get? Where did we get our clients from? How many returning clients did we have? And really look at kind of the numbers. Where are we finding, clients? Where are we seeing wins? And we'll really look at all of the information. We'll look at, all of the stuff that sometimes we want to bury our head in the sand. And it can be really helpful though to have those conversations. And so one of my challenges for you is what part of this will resonate with you. If you haven't done this yet, maybe you already did this, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you're like, I just really want to move into the new year and like forget last year. I totally get that. And also though, there can be so much value in looking back, not only from what you can learn, but you can find so many wins. And I know I did an episode on this recently as well, of like, in our heads, we can look back and be like, wow, nothing went right. And that wasn't just me. Like last year, I feel like 2025 was a tough year. Universally, I just feel like there was so much that people went through individually and just as a people, we all went through a lot, and individually, I know I've heard a lot of stories. However, there's still like, look for the good. I released an episode about look for the good, because for me, when I was doing my year in review and I looked back, and what I like to do is look back at my phone and look through pictures. And I was sharing that. I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot that I went to that conference. I forgot that I worked with that client. I forgot that I took that trip. I forgot we did that volunteer thing as a family, and you remember the good. So even if you want to totally forget last year, I'm going to encourage you to still look back and figure out, how can I move forward? And the other thing is, if you're a leader, if you lead people, if you lead teams, if you lead projects, if you have a business, whatever the thing is we can't just put our head in the sand. Because I know I had many moments where I was like, wow, I really did really good there and I excelled at my goal. And then there was things where I'm like wanting to hide my head because I'm like, oh, I did not follow through on that, or I didn't stay committed to that goal. And it's important that we do that so that I can do it differently this year. Like if I expect a different outcome this year, if I want to hit that goal this year, if I want to get that outcome this year, if I want to get that result this year, I can't put my head in the sand, because I need to go, what got in the way? Was it I didn't have the skills? I didn't have the tools? I didn't have the right people around me? I didn't have the habits? Like what got in the way? And this is like the tough love and the humbling piece that I will admit I do. I know I'm working with my clients who do that. I was just coaching one of my one-on-one clients. She's a high-level executive in a sales role, and she was just talking about this as they're looking to their Q1, and their quarters are a little bit different. As they're looking to get ready for their Q1, she's like, oh, we cannot have a Q1 like we had last year. Like, we cannot. And so I asked her, like, what are you going to be doing differently this year than what you did last year? And also challenged her to ask her people that, like, what are we going to be doing differently this year? Because we can't just do the same thing and expect a different outcome. So if you haven't done this and you didn't meet all of your goals that year that are last year that are goals for you now, maybe they're not goals anymore and you can just like forget it. But if you still have those, we really need to dig in. So we sat down, we did all of that, and then we get to do the exciting part of looking into 2026. And so we sat down and we talked about, how do I want this year to feel? Like, I kind of start with that first. Like, I create sort of my vision, and I do that on my own, and I'll write that down, and then I'll communicate it to her about, this is what I'm thinking for me, this is what I'm thinking about for our company and for our team. And I'll just kind of word vomit it out and talk it through. And she'll usually be taking notes down, and I'll say, this year I want to feel this way. And I love to pick a word of the year. And right now, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty committed to it, my word is commit. And I went with that word because I want to be all in. And I heard someone say this, I can't remember exactly who it was, so I can't quote who they were, but I heard somebody say this. I think I saw it on social media online. Somebody said, follow your plan, not your feelings. And I've also seen it in more colorful words. Hermosi, I can't remember her first name, but she says it with a little more spicy than that. And I just love that because it's like, I don't feel like that. It's like, you know what? Follow the plan. And so for me, my word this year is commit, to be really committed to my personal goals that I have, really committed to my health goals that I have, not making excuses or negotiating with myself of why I don't need to do it, but being really all in and being decisive and being disciplined and being committed to my business goals and the habits that it takes to get to those. So my word this year is commit. And I'm going to be talking about it a lot, about what I'm doing. And I'm also rereading the book Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that, love it. This will be the third time I'm reading it, but it's such a great book. There's so many good books on habits, but for some reason, this one really stands out to me. And a lot of people that I talk to say the same thing of just, it needs to be an identity shift. It can't just be that the external things you're doing change. It has to be an identity shift of not just, I'm going to be the person that does this, or I want to be. It's no, I am this. I am the person that does what I say I'm going to do. I am the person who drinks the water. I am the person that gets out for the walk. That is who I am. And it has to start with this identity shift before you can see those external results. And so I'm going to be talking about this a lot more this year and really getting back to the roots of, this is why I got into coaching years ago, is I started as a high performance coach and really helping people to create the habits to get to their potential and what are the things that get in the way. And I'm just so committed to it and fired up and energized about it this year. And I want to help you to be able to do that same thing. And so we talked about how I want this year to feel and be in flow. And I really want to be focused and decisive and what it is I wanted to commit to. And then after we talked about how we want to feel and what we want it to look like and what we want to stop doing and start doing, we then again did the same thing that we did looking back, but then we looked forward. What are our revenue goals going to be? How many events do I want to speak at? How many clients do I want to work with? What kind of clients do I want to work with? How is the business going to grow this year? What type of, we're going to be going through the rebrand of the company as we're growing the team. And we have amazing, faculty and team members that are helping us with content. And so we talked through all of that and we planned out, okay, if this is the revenue we want to make, when in the year are we going to be making that? What revenue streams are we going to be doing that? And so again, if you're listening to this, how can you take this and help set yourself up for the year? And, some people are like, already done this. Some people are like, I'm not ready to do this. I've heard a lot of people talk about, January is still kind of this like cozy snuggle time, or we're like not ready for that. Maybe you're not ready for it yet, But I would encourage you to figure out when is the right time that you feel. I was excited to do it already at the beginning of the year. I was like, let's go. I'm ready for this year. I'm ready for a new fresh year. And so what pieces of this can you take in? How can you make sure that you're planful this year? And then come up with like contingency plans. Like, hey, not everything's going to go according to plan. We all see that where life knocks you down. What am I going to do? What am I going to put in place so that when I get knocked down, when that goal doesn't happen, when that thing doesn't go through, that you're equipped to pivot or to handle it or to get through that thing. And so hopefully this helps you to really think through. So I like to really look at it as me as a person and as my family and my personal goals. And then just like how I want to feel this year holistically as a person throughout personal or work. But then I also like to break it down by categories. And I have talked about, I have it here for those of you who are watching. Otherwise, if not, it's called the Day Designer. I've used this for years. I still really love it, but we use this as part of our planning process as well. I've seen a couple other new ones that I think look pretty cool that also include like household cleaning things. I'll have to get the name of that one, but different. It has like, oh, clean your bathrooms today or things like that. But for me, I've still loved this Day Designer, and I use that as part of our process too, because at the beginning, it has things like, what's the big picture you have for yourself this year, set your goals, design your days, and even breaks it down then by financial goals, work goals, personal goals. So I like to think of it like holistically, how do I want to feel this year? And then break it down by those goals. And then again, you have to be checking in on them weekly, monthly, quarterly, at least to see how you're doing on those things. And so that's what we did. And a little bit, I guess my final things to you around the tough love, and I've already kind of done it, is just this year can be anything that you want it to be. And I think from all of the lessons I had last year, not just, personal things that happen that you don't expect, business things that happen that I didn't expect to happen, things that fell through that I didn't expect to fall through. And just this idea that you can have this inner peace and this inner confidence despite the external circumstances. And that's what you get to control. And I think while I know that and I coach people on that and I teach that, when you feel like you just have so much coming at you, you can start to lose that and just feel like you're at the effect of everything. And so I had to have a lot of tough love for myself too, to say, hey, you are going to be committed no matter what is going on. Like, you can drink the water, you can get up and do the workout, you can take the walk, you can send the email, you can pick up the phone and make the call. And those minimal things that you can do to still keep driving towards your goal. And so my challenge for you going into this new year is like, what do you need to let go of that you might be holding on to from last year that's just dragging you down? Or that you want to, maybe it was that you hustled too hard last year and you need more flow and peace this year. Maybe it was like you need to kick yourself in the pants this year. Take whatever it is that you need to take. You don't have to be the hustle. Like, maybe your thing this year is slow down, but be committed to it then. Don't just make it a word. Go all in on it and challenge yourself. How am I having more peace this year? How am I stepping back this year? If you're the opposite, like, how am I stepping up this year? Whatever your thing is, just be committed to it and go all in on it and follow the plan that you create for yourself so that you can feel, you can be the way that you want. And if you're a leader in an organization, or if you are a business owner and you lead teams or you lead other people, you're not only responsible for this for yourself, but for your team. How do they want to feel? What's getting in their way? How are you pushing them and challenging them to really own and embrace what it is that they want to be achieving this year? I hope that you have had the most amazing new year. And if you haven't, I hope things are looking up for you. And I'm just, again, so grateful for having you on the podcast. I'm super excited to just go even more all in this year on helping you to achieve your goals, to realize that it does start with you, that you have it all within you, and also to have some amazing guests on this year to help continue you to grow and develop in anything that you want to do. Happy 2026, and let's do this.